I'm not in any way a white supremacist. I am, however, a white enthusiast because sometimes I just love them. I love them. Like bunch of guys, young kids, they're all carrying equipment. Then the day on the beach, right? Like 6 of them. They aren't young kids, they're teenagers, you know, or young men maybe even. I don't know. Anyone younger than me could be anywhere from 15 to, I don't know, 25. I have no idea. I can't gauge age. But anyway, they're coming up the sidewalk. I'm walking towards them, right? But I'm not really looking. You know, I'm looking at my phone or something stupid, not paying attention, which is, you know, rare for me. I mean, I usually get the fucking eyes on the whole fucking situation 2 blocks out. And I'm right at them, and they all of them got into single file so that I could fit on the sidewalk with them. That is a white thing. No one else would do that shit. What happens usually is, like, if there's a group of people, I just walk toward them and they walk toward me, and it gets to a point where it's like, well, I can't become invisible. You know what I mean? We're meeting up against the wall of physics here. You know what I mean? But so these guys they knew that, they understood it, and they all got in single file. It was so nice. It was so nice. And I mean, yeah, there's other people that occasionally do that, but it's definitely a white thing. So, like, I you know, I shit on my people a lot too, but I also love them. You know, I love the things they do sometimes. That's just, I got so excited by it, I just started recording and I didn't have anything to say, but I wanted to point out that, you know, one of the things I like about my white brothers. Isn't that funny how they have us now, like, thinking that way? I never thought like that before, ever. You know, it was always like, growing up, even though we had all kinds of people in my neighborhood, I mean, it wasn't super diverse, which is usually good for community because you want people that are the most like you, because then you thrive that way. You don't thrive when you can't understand your neighbor's language. I mean, that's retarded. That's the backwards thing they push, though. Everything has to be backwards because it's a satanic thing. So they have to tell you up is down, left is right, empty is full. So of course they have to tell you that diversity is strength, when it absolutely isn't. It's retarded. How is it a boon to have nothing in common with your neighbor? Not culture, not background, not shared experience, not sometimes you have different tolerance for things, or your moral compass is different, or what's okay. Like, I lived in the Latino community for a long time, and you know, girls should get pregnant at 14, 15, no problem. And like, when I was a kid, getting pregnant at 14, 15, like a predominantly white area, they'd be in trouble. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, you know? They'd be trying to figure out how to pay to fucking get rid of it. Sadly, that's a whole thing I don't get into often, but it's not a fun subject. It's awful. When I was younger, I used to think, oh yeah, you know, why not? And then as I became more aware of the whole spiritual side of it, you know, you start to see those places as what they are. You know, a temple, a sacrificial temple. Moloch sitting there, his hands out, going, gimme, gimme, gimme. But yeah, we never classified ourselves as white people. I mean, a lot of times you'll hear, you know, Team Blue likes to get on that on Twitter or whatever social space about how they have no culture, and white people have no culture. It's like, yeah, because it didn't exist until, like, you guys started lumping everyone from Europe together. You know, and then we had to have a culture. You know, okay, I mean, that's like saying Asian culture. No, Korean culture is much different from, like, for instance, Japanese culture. I know, because my wife is half Korean, half Japanese. they usually don't get along. You know, they have a lot of different ideas about stuff. And they like different food, and they have different culture, and you know, so to try to feel like Irish culture is anything like Greek culture, it's really not, you know, at all. You know, a lot of white-skinned people tend to be at odds. I remember there was always a lot of animosity, not where I live, but generally it was thought that Italians and Irish usually would fight back and forth with each other, you know, and that would happen a lot with all different kinds of people. So they certainly weren't all one thing, and you know, we don't all have, there's no thing as white culture. So they're right about that, but white people is a new invention, you know, that they use to then bludgeon you about the head and neck, metaphorically. Everything, when they invent something new, like one of these new sort of paradigms, or it's always so that they can turn it around on you and use it as a weapon. Just like the word racism, like it doesn't mean anything. It was invented by a hat, you know. Just as I said that, a hat walked by. And I can tell. I don't know, like all I think of is that quote where they were talking about Donald Trump saying that he can sense Jewish people and how creepy that is, you know. And a lot of us are like, we read it, we're like, no, yeah, you know, yeah, I get it. Because you can. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know what it is. I can tell that, like, what a lot of people are, though. It isn't just like a Jewish thing. I can kind of tell. Through my wife, she's kind of set me up with how to figure out who is Chinese, who's Vietnamese, who's Japanese, who's Korean. You know, there's subtle differences. There's subtle differences in how those people look. Oh, this could be unintentionally funny when I'm done with it. But yeah, you get an idea as you get older. I think that comes with age. You know, and as a younger person, you know, you couldn't even know what anybody was. But as you get older, I'm gonna get out of the way of this door. That's the thing, like out here, is not really a good place to stand anyway. And you know about standing still. You know, it can be a problem here. But yeah, it's just they didn't exist. We didn't exist. I've always considered myself Irish, you know, and I don't have any other mixed lineage. As far as I know, like my family, from whatever genealogy has been done. Well, beyond that, we also know where everybody comes from. Like we know where my grandparents come from, Kerry, my other grandparents, County Cork. Like, so we can kind of trace where everybody comes from. Shit, I mean, my family's super hardcore about it. Not like they exclude anyone specifically or intentionally, but it's just they always seem to, like, all my sisters are married to Irish dudes. All their friends are kind of Irish, usually. I mean, yeah. It's just how it is. Because, fucking surprise, people are more comfortable with people that they have more in common with and a shared background. You can't find anyone that would prefer being with someone else. You won't find like a Chinese guy who's going to say, yeah, I'd rather live with Haitians. In the same way, you won't find anyone that would rather live with some other kind of group of people than their own. It's just how it is. And to say otherwise is just a lie. That's just like a creepy lie. You know? It's a creepy lie, which is what, you know, is what a lot of society is running on these days. Creepy lies. Oh, there's my girl. I'm gonna go. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.